Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sit and Fit. Sorry about the really bad picture. I think most of you have heard that my house was flooded last week. I lost my Intel computer, among other things. It got drenched in standing water. So I'm trying to like scrounge. Yes. Oh, yes, Melia, that happened. So I'm trying to scrounge a bunch of old computers together, and they're so old. So I'll figure it out. But anyways, this will work. We're going to give it just a few more seconds, see who else jumps in. All right. Let's go ahead and get to it, guys. So welcome to our first session of Sit and Fit. Today is all about upper body. This class is really designed for those of us who maybe are having a little joint pain. Maybe we can't quite get those heavy weights, or maybe we're a beginner in strength training. We're just starting from scratch. Maybe we're coming back from an injury. So what you're going to need for class is a chair. I've just got this dirty old card table chair. That will do just fine. So just a chair is all you need. Also, if you do want that extra load when we do these exercises, light hand weights, probably 5 pounds or less will do. If you're a little bit more advanced, feel free to grab heavier weights if you'd like. You can get creative. If you don't have any dumbbells or hand weights, you could use some soup cans, some water bottles. You could use a resistant band as well. I'll give you options. I will give you modifications for everything because that's what it's all about. Most of these exercises have 3 or 4 different options that we can do. But today's all about upper body. So to start, we're going to stand up. We're going to do a quick upper body warm up. So you can just start standing for now, and we're just going to do some big arm circles. So really lengthen your spine here. Big movements. You're zipping those shoulder blades together, opening up those shoulder girdles. And then let's take it the other way. Reverse. Make those circles as big and as wide as you can. Good. And now we're going to go to some shoulder rolls. So just squeezing those shoulder blades together. We're going to talk a lot about mobility. So especially if you are coming back from an injury, go the other way, or you are just starting out strength training, or maybe you are feeling the repercussions of aging process just a little bit like I am. So important that we do practice our mobility. From now, we're just going to make our arms become like wet spaghetti, wet noodles, and just kind of let them flop side to side here. Again, we're just opening up those shoulders, getting a little spine mobility here, a little rotation. But it's very important to practice at least 10 minutes of mobility for our whole body every day, no matter if you're an elite athlete or you are coming back from injury or just starting out. We don't have time to do 10 minutes today, but we're just going to do a little bit. One more time. This time we're going to do that spine mobility. So we're going to practice kind of a standing cat-cow. So you're going to zip your shoulder blades together, arch your back, lift your chin, lift your tail. Take a nice deep breath in here. As you exhale, you're going to draw everything forward. So kind of protract your shoulder blades, tuck your chin, tuck your tail. Inhale, zip everything together, arch that back. Exhale, round it off forward. And one more time. Squeeze those shoulder blades and then round it off back. Good. So I wanted to practice that just to remind you that while we're doing these exercises, we don't want to be arching or rounding. We want to keep that completely neutral spine. So you're also going to be working your core throughout this entire workout just by keeping that neutral spine. Squeezing those abs. I promise you have them in there somewhere. We all have them. All right, so first exercise, we have good old-fashioned push-ups. Everybody knows how to do a push-up, right? Not really. Not everyone knows how to do them correctly. The correct way to do a push-up is not arms out to the side. It's elbows back. You're going to feel a little bit more in your triceps. We're going to keep our shoulders nice and relaxed, and I'm going to show you a bunch of different varieties here. If you're okay with it, you can go to the floor. You can go in that high plank position, keeping your body straight as a board, keeping that neutral spine. So hips aren't up in the air, they're not sagging down. Elbows go back, and then you're pushing through the floor. You can modify even further by dropping to your knees and keeping that upper body straight as a board. Maybe you have a little bit of wrist tendonitis or arthritis and it hurts your wrist. If that's the case, a trick is to go on your fist or go on a set of dumbbells. That will take a little bit of pressure off. Or you can always go to a wall for a lot less resistance. You can modify even further by using your chair. On your knees, keeping that body straight, elbows back and push. Or you can do that plank position on the seat of your chair. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I prefer. We're going to do 1 minute of push-ups here. So figure out what position you like the best. Here we go. Now, as far as tempo goes, we want to go slow and controlled. We don't want to compromise our form by going uber fast because then we're likely to kind of do this kind of deal and break our neutral spine. Try to keep those shoulders nice and relaxed. Try not to shrug. Remain those elbows back, kind of by your rib cage here. Keep those abs vacuum sealed. If you are in this plank position, remember a wider stance is a stronger stance. So if you're having a little bit of rotation, try widening out your legs a little bit. That oftentimes helps. You're going to feel a nice burn start in your chest, your shoulders, and your triceps. We're almost there, guys. Breathe through it nice and easy. And let's go one more time. And up. Excellent. Shake them out. All right, from here, we're going to get into our chair. We're going to actually sit. And I'm going to have you either grab one of your dumbbells or your resistant band. And remember, if you're just starting out, maybe you don't even want any resistance yet. Maybe you just want to work on a little shoulder mobility. We're going to do a one-arm overhead press. So again, this time our elbow's out kind of a diagonal. It's not out to the side. It's not in the front. Most importantly, we're keeping that neutral spine. We don't want to slouch forward here. We don't want to arch. We want to work that core this entire time. That's why these seated exercises are actually even more challenging than standing because we can't cheat. When we stand, a lot of times we can use momentum. When we're seated, we can't swing, we can't cheat. So it's even more challenging. So these little light weights are going to become really hard after a minute. So get in that position, elbow to a diagonal. With your other hand, you can drop it down by your side. You can put it on your hip, whatever you prefer. Lengthen that spine. We're going to drive that weight overhead, trying not to shrug, and then bringing it back down nice and easy. So the reason that we're doing a single arm instead of both arms is because, again, it's a little bit more challenging. When we're doing single arms, we're really concentrating. We're not using that momentum that we can use with both hands. We can kind of throw it up. We can't do that with one arm. And it's a lot more intense with just one arm at a time. So we're keeping our shoulders squared here. If it gets to be a little too much, just drop that weight. If you have any pinching in that shoulder that just doesn't feel right, again, drop your weight. Just work on that shoulder mobility. Starting to burn, isn't it? Sometimes, even if you're not using any weight at all, just that overhead motion. Maybe you're not quite, maybe you're recovering from injury and you can't quite get that full range of motion. Drop that weight. It takes time, it takes a little practice. One more. Good, let's take it to the other side. Now I'm going to show you what it's like if you do have a resistant band. You can always just wrap that resistant band around your foot and do the same thing. You could wrap it, if you have a short resistant band like I do, you can wrap it around your thigh and do that same constant resistance. So we always have options. Here we go, 1 minute. It's real easy to kind of do this deal. So we want to really concentrate on keeping those shoulders square. We're going to bring it down nice and easy too. If you are just starting out with strength training, control is key. So not throwing weights around. You want to start off small and work up to it, progress. Also more important, concentrate on that negative or that eccentric motion. So maybe it feels a little better to throw it up, but then come down slow and control. So you're going to get those strength gains. Remember to keep concentrating. Be aware of that spine. Are you lengthening your spine? Are you keeping that core tight? Give me one more here. And down nice and easy. Excellent. We're going to take that dumbbell into the other hand. This time we're going to do a good old-fashioned bicep curl. Again, it's more challenging as we're sitting down because when we're standing, guess what? We have opportunity to swing like this. If you got that resistant band, you can wrap it around your foot and you can do the same thing. Just bring it down nice and slow because sometimes that band will make us jolt it down real easy. If you are a little bit more advanced, here's a little bit of a challenge or a progression. You put the elbow on the inside of your knee, and this is called a concentration curl. That's going to provide no cheating at all. It's going to give us a little bit less leverage. So we got 1 minute here. Squeeze, bring it down nice and slow. You choose the tempo, but remember the slower the better. When we're doing bicep curls, pretend like you have an orange in between your bicep and your forearm, and you're squeezing, making orange juice. Keep it going. Squeeze, bring it down nice and easy. Top of the movement is the most important part right there. Make that orange juice and then bring it down nice and slow. Good job. Let's take it to the other side. Same deal. Make that orange juice. Squeeze. And play around with different weights too. If this seems too easy for you, by all means, grab a heavier weight. Just make sure you're really focusing on that form. And lower it down. These little 3-pounders are already burning. Not a shame because we're really just focusing on that form. We're focusing on, single arm, like I said, is way more challenging. We're getting some core work because we're seated. I always have a chair in every one of my classes. You guys know this. I struggle with balance, so it's just always nice to have a chair there for balance. But even if you're just trying to make something a little bit more challenging, it can be a progression too. One more. Nice work. All right, we're going to put that dumbbell back on the other hand. This time we're going to go triceps, so the back of the arm. So again, lengthening your spine. You're going to take that arm overhead. Now this time we're going to almost pretend like that elbow is glued into our ear. We're going to bring that weight behind us, and then we're going to drive it up. So try not to let that elbow fall to the side. Keep it glued. You're going to feel a nice stretch. And then as you extend, you're just trying to straighten that arm out as best you can, and you're going to start feeling that tricep fire. This is a great one to do without any resistance too. You're just going to work on that shoulder mobility. Keep going. If you have a band, you can do it the same way. Put that band overhead, grab it underneath, and then straighten it up. One more. Good. Now let's take it to the other side. 1 minute triceps. Elbow, glue it to your ear. Extend and release. You want to keep that constant tension. So just make sure even when it's down here, you're not like kind of flopping it down. You want constant tension throughout the whole exercise. Squeeze down. Breathing through it, slow and controlled. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Squeeze. Lower. One more. Get out. Excellent work. All right, moving on. We're going to do some back work. So I'm going to show you 2 different options. If you want to do bent rows with both your dumbbells or your bands, you can place your bands under your feet if you'd like, or grab both dumbbells. We're gonna have a slight bend in our knee here, and we're gonna shift our butt back. Shift your hips back. But there's a nice straight line in my spine here. So we're not doing this. We're not rounding at the shoulders. We're sticking our butt back, and we're making that spine completely straight. From here, you're going to drive those elbows up. You're going to squish a pretend grape in between your shoulder blades, and then you're going to bring it back down. You can stick with that option, especially if you're just starting out. Maybe that just feels good. Or you can stick with me. We're going to do a single arm. So you can be in that same position and just drive one elbow up, just making sure you're not doing this. We want to keep our shoulders squared and squeeze that shoulder blade, drive that elbow up. You could also be in a big stance and maybe put your hand on the seat of your chair if that helps, it feels more comfortable on your spine or prevents you from doing that turtle back. So play around with different positions and listen to your body. We got 1 minute here. So same deal applies. We don't want to go fast. We don't want to go for speed. We're working on posture here. We're really strengthening those posterior muscles, which is so important, especially for those of us that are sitting at our desks all day. Really reversing that position, strengthening those rear delts, strengthening those backs. Lift and squeeze. You're gonna feel this in your biceps as well. The main goal is to own that top position right there and really squeeze your shoulder blades, and you're gonna feel those back muscles working. One more. Good, let's take it to the other side. Same deal, find that position that you like, and that's okay if you're using both for a double bent over row. If you like that better, that's okay. You're just gonna do a lot of reps. Please, keeping those shoulders squared. Nice, slow and controlled. Owning that top position. Breathing through it. I'm feeling it, starting to burn. Who says we have to lift heavy weights? We don't. Soup cans are fine. Resistant bands are fine. Especially if you're just starting out, just work on that mobility like we talked about. All this movement is going to help us. One more. It's going to help us if we do have any joint pain. It's going to keep our joints lubricated. We have that synovial fluid in between all our joints. That's what keeps it moving. So if you think about like the Tin Man, like oiling our joints, that's what mobility does. We always say motion is lotion. So the more we move around, the better we're going to feel, the more it's going to keep that joint and that fluid flowing. All right, next up, we have dips. This is a particularly harder one, more challenging, especially if you do have that wrist tendonitis or arthritis. So I'm going to show you a bunch of different options. Option number 1 is to put your hands at the edge of your seat and walk your feet out. And it's almost like we do a little bit of a backwards push-up. So keeping those shoulders relaxed and then driving through your arms like that. You're going to feel lots of chest, lots of triceps on that one, and shoulders. If you're a little bit more advanced, you can take it up a notch. You can straighten out those legs. That's going to give you more resistance as you push through those dips. If that is a little bit too much, keep seated here. Keep your butt on either the floor or on your chair. And then you're going to do that same motion, but just pushing through the seat of your chair with a lot less resistance. You can even go to a wall, and you could do kind of like a tricep push-up. That's going to do the same motion. Sometimes, especially if you have a shoulder injury or you have shoulder surgery, you might not have that range of motion to bring your elbows all the way back. So another good option, if you can't do any of those, is to just stick with those tricep extensions. So you get that tricep work and that shoulder mobility. All right, so we got 1 minute here. Take your poison. Here we go. Nice and easy, slow and controlled. You can also push through the floor on these with your heels. You're going to be getting a little bit of hamstring and glute work at the same time. It's one of my favorite exercises. It is, like I said, a little bit more challenging, but of course we have lots of different options. Breathe through it and listen to your body. If you need to take a little break, I know a minute's a long time. Take a break, reset, refocus, and get right back into it. Keep it up. Push. We're almost there. 2 more good ones. Oh yeah, I felt that. Shake it out, shake it out. All right, next up, we have upright rows. So a couple of different options. You can use your dumbbells. We're gonna stand up for this one. Shoulders back, core nice and tight. Practice that neutral spine. You can either bring your dumbbells up to your chin, leading with your elbows, and then back down, trying not to shrug. Or you can use your band if you'd like. And then you're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna use my band for this one. So here we go, 1 minute, lifting, leading with your elbows, and then back down. It's real easy to shrug those shoulders on this one. So really try to keep those shoulders relaxed. You're gonna feel your shoulders fire up again. Same deal, if you feel pinching in that shoulder that just doesn't feel right, just do the movement without any resistance to start. Practice that mobility, get that fluidity, get that synovial fluid going, and then easily, slowly add up in a little resistance or a little load, a little bit at a time. And squeeze. And squeeze. Keep it up. We're almost there. Give me 1 more. Awesome work. All right, guys, so that was just 7 exercises. We worked shoulders, biceps, triceps, chest, back, and of course we worked our core through the whole entire thing. So now it's very important again to do that stretching. And we don't have time to do 10 minutes of stretching, but I always recommend doing 10 minutes of stretching every single day. After our workout is when we want to try to do more static stretching. When we were warming up, we were doing kind of a dynamic warm up, and that was more, dynamic stretching as well. We were moving. That just means dynamic just means we're moving. Static just means we're stretching, but we're holding. We're not moving while we're stretching. So you can get back in your seat here. And these are also just some exercises, some stretching techniques you can do as you're at your desk all day, in between meetings or during meetings. So we're going to take one arm, we're going to extend it overhead. And again, if you feel like you can't quite extend all the way, maybe you're just here, that's okay. It just takes practice. You just need to work on that shoulder mobility. Now from here, we're going to walk our fingertips down the center of our back. Take that other hand, try to walk your fingertips up the center of your back and try to connect those fingers behind you. You're going to feel a nice stretch in your shoulder, your chest, your back, your lats. And then if you can't touch, no big deal. That's just something to work on. So from here, take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, unwind, and then take it to the other side. Walk your fingertips down the center of your back. Other hand, walk up. Now I cannot connect my fingers on this side. I can on the other side, but I cannot on this side. I've been trying for about a year now. But that just tells me I need a little bit more shoulder mobility work. On this side, it's just an old injury that just doesn't seem to want to heal, and that may be the case. Sometimes it never completely gets that 100% mobility. But all we can do is work on it. So do the best you can here. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale and unwind. From here, we're going to give ourselves a big hug. We're going to walk our fingertips back all the way to those shoulder blades, and we're just going to protract. So you can actually slump over on this one. Usually we say don't ever hunch over, but this one you can. And then we just want to open up those shoulder blades. You worked your back hard. So just kind of release some of that tension in your back. And then clasp your hands in front. We're going to reach all the way up to the ceiling. Lengthen your spine, pull over to one side. You might feel that all the way down in your hip, but certainly through your torso, shoulder, and lats. And then take it to the other side. Back to center, release. We're going to clasp our hands behind our back and we're going to lift behind us, open up that chest, loosen up those triceps from all those dips and push-ups. Good. Now just let your arms hang down as heavy as they can be, but try not to slouch. So you're lengthening your spine, but you're letting your arms just really elongate here. Lengthen your neck. We're going to finish with some cervical spine stretching. So ear to shoulder, chin over shoulder, chin over shoulder, and up to soften your jaw here, and chin down. Always finish with a big inhale up, fill those lungs with air. Exhale, let it all go. Awesome work. Thank y'all for joining me today. Next session next week is all about lower body. So it's going to be a little bit even more challenging, but practice those exercises, keep progressing. Let me know if you have any questions. And here's your trivia question of the day. Speaking of helping with joint pain, it's all about joint pain, right? Which of the following spices can help with joint pain? Turmeric, cinnamon, or ginger? Which do you think can help with our joint pain? Turmeric, cinnamon, or ginger? It is kind of a trick question. Yeah, you guys all got it right because guess what? It's all three of them. All three, turmeric, cinnamon, and ginger all have anti-inflammatory properties. So we really can't go wrong. Use them, put them on food, and they also they're all medicinal. They have antiseptic products as well. They're good for our belly. So yeah, good stuff. We can't go wrong with those spices. Thank you all for joining me. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Thank you guys. Thank you, Becky. Good to see y'all. Oh, hi, Carla. I didn't know you were in here. Thank you.